Hi, I'm Jana Riley, and this is Ageless. I'm 40, and my life is just getting started. I'm here to share real talk and real experiences about how to live life ageless. Nothing's off the table. You know the vibes. Let's go. Hello, and welcome back to Ageless. I'm Jana Riley, and today I am going to do a solo, and it's just going to be an update podcast. I just want to give you, I know I left you hanging a few podcasts ago, and I've had some amazing guests. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to my last few podcasts, I was just blown away by all the value that all of my guests have brought to the table. And I'm just really excited to share that I have more coming, and I will do solos in between. But I just, the thought that came to me this morning is this: some things only you can teach you. And I don't know why that came to the forefront, but it's one of those things where you just have to go through life open and being teachable and allow yourself to learn. And that's really what I've been going through a lot. I have gone through so much change since my last solo, so much change, and it's all for the good. It's really all for the good. So I know it's been a while, but remember the guy that I was telling you about, the one that was supposedly the second rejection. I really want to stop talking about that because it's so in the past for me, but we just had the most amazing connection. And that's what I mean about some things only you can teach you. I just was intuitively led to pursue this relationship that seemed so unrealistic. I mean, we met the day before he was going back to Chicago. He lived in San Diego for 8 years and was coming back to take care of some stuff. And that's how we met. And it's just so mind-blowing to me how life works out. So what was crazy is the first night that we were hanging out, and I know I've told this story before, we spent 9 hours together the first day we met. And the way we met was just so unbelievable. I won't tell that story again because I think I've told it twice. But the way we met was just so unreal. And I went with it, saying yes. Saying yes is a beautiful thing. Just say yes, and your life could be dramatically different, and mostly in a good way. That's what I believe. I mean, we can say yes to things, but it has to be intuitively led. And so when I said yes to hanging out with a guy that I didn't know but felt right about hanging out with, my life changed, and I'll tell you the story. So we were hanging out at his hotel, and I walk out onto the balcony, and there was the most beautiful skyline of San Diego, downtown San Diego, water, beautiful skies. And I looked at him and I said, how could you possibly leave this gorgeous city? How could you possibly do that? I don't think you're supposed to leave. My gut is just saying that this is a mistake. You're not supposed to go. And I really felt strongly about that. And he thought about it. He really did. And so we went on, had more conversation. And I also looked at him and I said, you also are longing for a partner. I feel that way. And I'm talking to him without feeling like I'm trying to convince him of anything. These are just things that came to my heart and I felt like I had to share. So after that night, we spent a few more days together and just got really close. I feel like our spirits connected and bonded on such a beautiful level. It's really hard for me to describe because it was just fourth dimension. It was such a fourth dimension experience. And, what's crazy is the affirmation that came up for me this morning was to live intuitively is to live fourth dimensionally. And that is exactly the way that I've been living. So fast forward, we stayed connected, and then there was that lapse that I felt like he ghosted me, and he was just going through his own stuff. And I just still felt like I had to reach out, not from an annoying place, but to just show love. I felt like I had to reach out, and I continued to reach out. And then finally he was in a place to respond, and everything has just been so beautiful since then. And he came out to visit again. Let me just actually back up. So he went back to Chicago, and it didn't feel right for him. He moved back, and some shit came up, and I feel like he had his own realization that it was just what he had to do. He had to go through what he was going through, and then redirect. And that redirection was between the two of us. So he ended up coming back to San Diego, and we spent like a good week together. And then for my birthday, I just had a birthday, you guys. I just turned 41, which is so mind-blowing to me, because I don't identify with age. That's what Ageless is all about. You know, it's of the spirit, you know. I feel like I am still in my teens. That is how I feel. That's the child-like feeling that I have. So just because I have a symbol now that says 41, I'm checking that box. I just don't identify with it, and that's okay. So I just had a birthday. October 13th was my birthday, and so for my birthday, I was going to go out to visit my parents in North Carolina and spend a week with them, and so I ended up doing that, and he stayed at my place. And then we were going to meet in Chicago. So our plan was this. So I flew out to my parents, and by the way, I just had a beautiful time with my mom is actually a potter, and it was part of the North Carolina State Fair, which is a huge deal. Pottery, the home of pottery, is in North Carolina, so there was a huge pottery exhibit, and she was a part of it, and I was so proud of her. I got to see her booth, I got to see all her designs, and if you go to my Instagram, I did a reel on all of that, and it was just such a beautiful experience to be a part of that. They took me to a beautiful farmer's market for my birthday, and I had this crazy Southern meal, which was just so good. You know, when I was out there, I was like, I'm not going to order what I normally order. I did like the barbecue chicken Southern style. I did okra. I did, oh God, what else did I order? Collard greens. You know, I just went for it. The biscuits were so good. So I just did the whole Southern thing and had a beautiful time with my parents. They ended up doing a Zoom and met my guy, and I was just so blessed and grateful for the whole experience. Things were just moving so effortlessly and naturally. And before I share the next part, we realized he needs to be in San Diego, and he was willing to break his lease in Chicago and move back to San Diego. So what I did after North Carolina, I flew to Chicago, and we packed up all of his things, and I wish I could share the photo of what it looked like. We had so many bags. He has so many clothes. Like, he has more clothes and shoes than I do, which is like mind-blowing, but he has amazing style, and I love everything that he owns. Like, he couldn't have a bad outfit if he tried. And so we packed up all of his things and flew back together to San Diego, and we are living together now, and I could not be happier. I feel like this is my person. I've never felt this way before. And you know, we talk about our future. We communicate really well, I mean, this is probably the best communication I've ever had in a relationship. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I know you've been on this journey with me. And I'm just proud to say that I'm in a new relationship that I absolutely adore and absolutely love. On the last podcast with Dr. Frida, I shared that with her as well, because I am someone that has never, ever felt like I wanted to have children. I for a while thought there was something wrong with me because I never had that urge or tug to have babies. And I feel like I'm kind of selfish in a way, to the point where, I want the freedom. I'm not a selfish person, but when it comes to my freedom, that's where I feel like I'm selfish. I want to be able to get up and go and do, and not feel tied down by having the responsibility of a child. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And not to mention the fact that I've just never had the urge. I've never been in a relationship that's inspired me to have kids. I've never, I have actually a really close friend of mine wanted to have a baby, and so she just did it on her own, and picked the partner from a photo, and did it that way. And she's an incredible mom. She's a single mom, and that's what she wanted. But I've never had the urge to do anything like that. I love having dogs, and I know all of you know that. Monroe is my child, Beckham was my child, Malibu was my child. These are all three Chihuahuas that I've had, and Monroe is the one that I have now. And I'm fine with that. I feel like I fulfill that parental feeling and whatever word it's supposed to be with the dogs. But what's crazy is, ever since I met, I'm not giving out his name yet, ever since I met my guy, I have felt like I want to have children. It makes me want to cry, because I just never knew I would have that feeling. And so on the last podcast, I was talking about that with Dr. Frida, and I said, I'm in this relationship that I absolutely love. And we talk about getting married, and we talk about having babies, and I genuinely want both, genuinely. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. So sharing it on a public platform, I want to do this thing. And so I would love comments. I would love feedback on what it's like to be a parent, and the joy that comes along with that. And I'm really excited about this next chapter of my life. And I just wanted to give the audience, I just wanted to give you guys just the 411 on that, because I totally left you hanging on the last podcast. So when I say some things only you can teach you, I feel like I've taken a chance on the relationship. I've taken a chance on love. I've taken a chance on the possibility of future, and what is and what could be. And that is super exciting to me. And I will still keep you guys in the loop on this journey. But even though there's just been so much change, I feel like all of it has been divinely led. And when I feel that, and I don't feel like I've been, manipulating or getting in the way or pushing, I just feel strongly that this is supposed to be my life, even though it happened so fast. But that's how I roll, I don't sit around and wait for anything. I go and I do. And I feel like when you're open to something, and you're putting in the effort, and you're intuitively led, how can you go wrong, And I'm not saying that our situation has been easy. We've had our roadblocks, but you know what? Our communication is so good. It's so fucking good that we're able to move through it and get on the other side and get closer. I'm closer than I've ever been with him, and I'm so fucking grateful for that. It feels really good. I was single for a while. I had a really tough relationship over a year ago, and I learned so much. And that's going to have to be another podcast. But after I left, I took a year off from dating, and I just went inward, and I had to find all the unhealed wounds that came to the surface in that relationship, and I had to heal. And I did some really deep work. So when I met the new guy, I felt like I'm prepared, I'm ready, I'm totally ready for this. I don't even need to think about it. I've done the work. I am open. I'm open to this change. I'm open to having a partner, and that's all I'm looking for, is just a partner. And I feel like that's what I have today, and I'm so grateful for that. So when do you know that it's right? That is the question that I ask myself. Like, how do I know that this is right? Guess what? I know that it's right because I was intuitively led. I was open, and I said yes. And that's it. That's how I know it's right. I didn't force anything, and that's what I used to do in my past. I used to force, and it just led me to pain and in a fearful place, like trying to hold on to something for my dear life when I know that it's wrong, So I'm glad that I don't feel that way today. But I just wanted to share and give an update, because you guys have walked with me through my personal life, and I just hope that what I'm sharing today has been useful and helpful. I've also been writing music, and I'm really excited about some new songs. There's a song that I wrote called Boomerang, and it is one that I am so incredibly excited about. And I've also written some other music, so I'll be working in the studio here soon. And I'm just excited for where my life is going. And, like I said, there's a lot of change, and I'm actually jumping headfirst into fitness again, in a different capacity than what I have been doing, and my life is shifting, and I'm going with it. I'm not resisting, I'm going with it. And I think that is what we have to do if we want to live the life that is life-giving, that is honest, that is going to bring joy, that will bring peace of mind. If we don't resist change, we're actually going to have peace of mind. We're going to be happier. And that's what I'm going through right now. So, I know I just put so much on the table, but I am not ashamed of anything. I'm just so fucking grateful, and I feel so blessed. And that is what I wanted to bring to the podcast today, is just, share the wins. Share the wins. If you're winning right now, share it, because it inspires so many people. It really does. And you never know who's listening or watching. Like, people watch your feet. And if you are out there crushing it and winning, share about it and just keep going, keep doing. I watch people's feet all the time, and I get inspiration from so many different aspects. And, that's what I also talk about mentors all the time. And I just think, share the wins with your mentor, share the wins with the people close to you, and keep winning, keep doing. And I thank you for listening today. Mwah. I love you guys.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of Ageless. Don't forget to rate and subscribe. Tune in next week for a new episode.